Whoops, Gail just accidentally jumped off. All righty. Well, thanks for coming. I want to report that my my burn is totally fine now. Well, it's not totally fine. I mean, maybe you know this, Pat, from having worked in the burn unit, that it's just like a really thick piece of skin now.
Yeah.
It'll probably,
Yeah. It'll slough off probably eventually, but leave it alone. Keep it lubricated.
Okay. The bubble went down thanks to your advice of covering it. And then I'm going there. And so then I was contemplating, gosh, kind of kicking myself. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? But that happens, right? I mean, you're just mindless for 1 second and something will happen. And we're also, as we're, as people with low bone density, we're concerned about tripping and falling. And those trips and falls can happen in a second, like right in a moment, right? You can be just walking down the path and trip on a root or something and fall. So, and it just happens. We can be just inattentive. And like I mentioned in my email, yoga provides us an opportunity to practice attentiveness, but it's not like 100%. Going to be 100% goal. But that's the path of yoga, is to get more and more into this sense of what they call pratyahara, where we're not necessarily, we're responsive to our senses, our sense of smell, sight, sound, touch, but we're not reactive, and we can manage within all of them at once. And then that brings us into a state of dharana, which is focus. And this is just like a slow change over change, moment by moment thing that happens with a steady yoga practice. And it's not that we're going to reside in this perfect state 100% of the time. We're human. We're in the world. There's a lot of random things coming out. And I was thinking about my experience in blacksmithing, and that room was just sensory overload for me. It was like really loud, and the teacher was playing this like rock and roll music, and then we had the heat from the 400 degrees heat. It was just like too much, and I was just sweating and dying, and I just was not paying attention. So the situation was not optimal for me. So of course I made a mistake and burnt my hand. Luckily it wasn't anything worse. But so the more we practice, there are tools in the practice, the tool of focusing on our breath, the tool of focusing on our body, where we are in space, all of the components of our body. Because as we tease out learning these shapes, if we're new to yoga, or even if we've been doing yoga for a long time, if we're learning the shapes, we can tease out like, oh, doesn't that feel different today? Or, oh, what does that feel like today? It's just becoming more and more attuned to what is right now. So like we might think we're accident prone or clumsy or this or that and the other thing. But it's a tuning into paying attention moment by moment, and being aware of those assaults on our senses so that we can make good choices, right? All right. Hi, everybody who just showed up. All right. So we're going to start actually on our back today to try to practice a few things that are going to tease out a little bit more the nuances of sensing how it feels in your body. And so we're lying on our back. And if you have a strap, go ahead and get a strap. If you don't have a strap, don't worry. We'll do something else. But I recommend getting a strap at some point, using whatever kind of strap. You can have a stretchy strap, a belt. Nice, Doris. A tie for your bathrobe, anything like that. So we're going to lie down on our backs, starting there. And I think because for me, when we're practicing barefoot, we can use the feet as a rebound to the world around us. But then lying on our back for a moment, we can feel the whole ground beneath our back and have a sense of the length of our body. So once you get down there, just adjust the hips, the shoulder blades. And if you have a kyphotic curve in the upper back and you require to have a little bit of cushion under the head, you can go ahead and do that, but try to limit it to its bare minimum so that you can have a sense of a mountain pose where the ears are balanced over the shoulders as best you can. So you're letting gravity kind of decompress the whole spine. You can reach through the heels, spreading the toes. The arms can be alongside your body for a moment. Palms facing your hips or maybe slightly up to the ceiling. And just take an inventory from your head down to your toes, slowly feeling the sense of what is touching the ground beneath you. What isn't touching the ground beneath you? Where are those curves in the neck, perhaps, or the low back, maybe the back of the knees or the ankles, places that are generally, we're not one straight line. We are a set of curves. We have more or less padding underneath us from our tissues in our body. Just have a sense of what does it feel like to be long and tall in our body with gravity pressing down more or less evenly across the front of our body, right? So holding us to the floor. You can even maybe close your eyes. Sometimes closing your eyes, this is a tool that where our eyes go, our mind goes. So if our eyes are staring at the ceiling or a piece of furniture in your room, your mind is going to be sort of anchored there. But if maybe the eyes could close for a moment and just literally hold the eye still behind the lids. Let the mind settle on the sensations inside your body. Feeling the weight of the body into the surface beneath you and maybe even feeling for the sensation of the clothing you're wearing. Now, this isn't Shavasana. This is an active pose. This is reaching through the heels, spreading the toes so the feet are flexed. The hands are alongside your body casually, but not loosely. Like you're not just letting the arms lay out to the side there. And they're not like militant reaching down, but they're kind of active. So you can sense the center of your palms of your hands. Being aware of the full capacity of your body in this position. And turn your attention to your breath as it comes in and out of your nostrils. Draw the breath in and out through the back of the throat. Maybe making that whispering sound with the ujjayi sound of the breath. And then feeling for the rib cage. Now the rib cage starts at the connection of the ribs to your spine and wraps around to the front. So see if you can feel the breath. It might feel easier for the rib cage to expand up into the space around you, but see if you can press a little bit through the back body with the breath. Expanding your rib cage around all your body. The back, the side, the front. Depending on where your arms are, maybe you feel the rib cage touch the inside of the upper arms. On your next inhale, you can raise your gaze up, focus on the ceiling and bend your right knee up And maybe hold on to the kneecap with your both hands, drawing the knee up close to the ribs or closer to the chest. As you flex both feet, still keep both feet flexed, reaching through the heels, scissoring the legs apart. Your left inner thigh is drawing down to the floor. The right inner thigh is drawing up towards the chest. Spend a couple of breaths here as you notice that as you breathe a little deeper, your hip socket might relinquish the movement of the hip a little deeper into this bend. Now, if you have a strap, you could take the strap and wrap the strap around the ball of the right foot and reach through the heel, straightening the leg, holding on to each side of the strap. If you don't have a strap, continue either to hold on to the kneecap, drawing the leg closer to your body, or maybe straighten the leg out long with the hands behind the thigh. Both spots, the heel is flexed and you're just reaching through the heel, spreading the toes. And just notice, teasing out the backside of the right leg. Notice the sensation through the arch of the foot, the heel of the foot. Breathing deeply here. And if your leg is straight, then you're maybe drawing the leg a little closer to your chest, but all the while keeping the leg straight. So if the knee is bent, you're working more in the hip. If the leg is straight, you can work a little bit more through the whole leg, from the sole of the foot into the hip. Nice. And if you have your strap, you're going to bring both sides of the strap into your right hand. Your left hand will come out to the side. If you're holding your leg, you'll just hold onto the leg with the right hand, or rotate that right hip out to the side. Slowly rotate it out without letting that left hip come off the floor. So you go as far as you can, still keep both sides of the hips rooted. Reaching through the heel. Breathing here. Keep rooted down through the left side of your body. Feel long and tall to the crown of the head and through the left heel. And then slowly rotate that leg back to the center position. And exhale, let the right foot come down to meet the left. If you have the strap, keep the strap on the foot for a moment and just pause with the feet together at the bottom, and then just notice right side and left side. So this practice of attentiveness comes from practicing noticing sensation. On your next inhale, you'll bring your left knee up, hugging it up close. So the right, you can release the strap from the right foot, but this time we're just bending the knee first before the strap comes up. The left knee comes up towards the chest, flexing that left foot. So you get a sense of the inner thighs in different directions. The right inner thigh is dropping down to the floor. The left inner thigh is drawing up towards your chest. Breathing here. And then if you have your strap, you can wrap that around the left foot, the ball of the foot. If you don't have a strap, you'll straighten your leg out and hold the back of your thigh. But either way, you are straightening the leg as best you can, reaching through the heels, keeping the toes spread. So the more intention we have around the periphery of our body, like the toes and the fingers, the more the whole body is engaged in absorbing the mechanics of the shape that we're in. sort of creating these pathways, muscle memory. This is where your body is compared to the space around you. And take one more inhale here, and exhale, we'll rotate that left hip out to the side. Maybe the strap is holding onto with your left hand, your right hand comes out for balance, or you're holding your left hand around your thigh. Right hip stays rooted. So you find this balance, this leverage, this sort of ballast of the arm and the leg. You could even turn your gaze toward the right. Again, the mind goes where the eyes are. So if you're looking towards the right, it sort of keeps the right side of your body more rooted and grounded there. And then slowly inhale, rotate that left leg back up to the ceiling. And exhale, slowly let the left foot come down to meet the right. Keep the strap there for a moment and just pause and notice left side and right side, front side and back side. Nice. And then bending both knees, place both feet flat on the floor. Feet are flat on the floor. Bringing the heels up as close as you can to the hips. So the knees are generally over the ankles. And now you feel the sense of the feet on the floor, right? Or on your mat or whatever surface you're on. You spread the toes, roll over to the pinky toe side of your feet a bit. Notice how the rest of the body responds. Roll down into the big toe side of the feet. Notice how the rest of the body responds. Come up onto the heels of the feet. Draw the toes all the way off the floor. Heels of the feet are on the floor. And then exhale, come bring the feet flat down and lift the heels off the floor, sort of coming into the balls of the feet. So you're just kind of rotating around on the feet, getting a sense of mobility in your ankles and your feet, responsiveness to the feet. I do a lot of this in that Fit Feet course that I was telling you I'm going to be releasing in an online version in a couple of weeks. So now plant the feet down evenly, pressing into the feet, toes, heels. Feel for the arches of the feet if they're off the floor. If you have flat feet, you generally can feel the skin on the floor too. And then bring the arms alongside your body and bending the elbows, palms facing each other above your belly, like robot arms. Your hands are apart, so you're holding up an imaginary block. And then pressing into the back of the arms and the feet at the same time, lift the hips off the floor, lengthen the front side of the body. We're intentionally bringing these movements into a very slow, mindful manner today. You maybe rock the shoulder blades a little closer together and go back to feeling what is touching the floor, what is resisting that floor, pressing up from the floor, what is balancing on the floor, what is rising up, how is the whole back body engaging and the front body is releasing and rising, lifting, finding your breath. And slow things down and notice. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower the hips down, release the arms. And let's draw both knees up towards the chest. Just rock a little bit on your back of your sacrum. One direction, the other. Nice. And then releasing the feet back down to the floor, straighten the legs, reach your left arm up overhead and roll to the left so you can roll onto your belly. So roll over to your belly. Bring your palms underneath your shoulders, well, slightly back alongside your rib cage, actually, so the elbows are off the floor. Chin can be neutral. Spreading the toes. Now feel for the tops of the feet on the floor. Feel what is touching the floor here. Maybe the knees are on the floor, maybe the knees are off the floor. The thighs, the belly, the chest, the palms, maybe the chin at this point. And then next inhale, lift the nape of the neck, lifting the chest forward. Press the palms into the floor to come up a little bit higher, maybe up to the edge of your ribs. Take a couple of deep breaths here, feeling for the rib cage expand around the back body, around the rib cage or the spine, around the sides, the front body. Breathing deeply into the whole body. Now staying upright, soften the hands from the floor and use the back body to stay up for just a couple more breaths. Long, deep breath. And then exhale, slowly lower the chin, release the arms down alongside your body, palms facing up. Then next, we'll lift the whole body from the backside. Lift the soles of the feet off the floor, lift the nape of the neck off the floor. Chest comes forward and lift the palms off the floor. Reaching the palms toward the toes, reach the toes away from the head away from the toes. Long and tall, lifting, breathing, holding the gaze steady down your nose, engaging with the whole back body. Take one more inhale here, and exhale, release the hands underneath your shoulders. Press your palms, lift your hips, come up into a hands and knees position. Palms underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And then just gentle tucking your tailbone and your pelvic tilts a little bit. So inhale, tailbone goes up, exhale, tailbone goes down. And just releasing that center position of the body, noticing this very subtle, soft movement through the hips. And then rotate the tailbone in a circle, one direction, a few breaths. Spiral that tailbone around in a circle. Trying to sort of isolate the movement in the hips. And then rotate in the other direction. Tailbone goes around in the other direction. Like you're doing a hula hoop with your hips. And then coming back to a neutral position. Let's step that left foot back behind you. Press into the ball of the foot and reaching through the heel. Lengthen the calf. Feel the leg engage all the way into the hip socket. Keep the left hand there. Right hand comes forward, palm facing center. Lift the belly to the spine and push the left foot off the floor to hip height. Reaching long through the fingers and toes that are up in the air. Keep engaged with the leg and the hand that's on the floor. The core is engaged, so your spine is providing that stability for these limbs to be supporting your body. Breathing here. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, take the right hand down below the shoulder, but take the left foot across the center off to the right side. Turning toward your left, reach the left hand to the ceiling. Nice long broadening of the collarbones. And then exhale, reach the left hand towards the front of the mat, long side body, all the way from the left toes to the left pinky finger. Notice if you're wiggling, finding it hard to balance. You find more connection to the core, or maybe move the left foot away from center so you can find balance there. Nice. And then inhale, reach the left hand to the ceiling again. Exhale, turn back towards the hands and knees. Nice. And then let's step the right foot back behind you. Press down through that right foot, reaching through the heel, lengthen the calf, feel this connection into the hip socket. Right hand stays grounded, left hand comes forward. Lift the belly to the spine, push the right foot off the floor to hip height. Long spine, long breath, long limbs. So it's opposite hand, opposite. So the right hand is down, right leg is up, left hand forward, yeah. Breathing here. Take one more inhale here. Exhale the left hand down to the floor. Take your right foot across center, off onto the floor beyond the mat. Turning towards your right, reach the right hand to the ceiling as you inhale. Broaden the collarbones. And then exhale, reach the right hand toward the front of the mat. Lengthening along the sideline of the body. Beautiful. So the right foot comes away, far away, so that you are off center. Your left knee, left hand are pretty much in line, but your right foot comes across for balance. Breathing here. Do what you can. And then inhale, bringing the right hand to the ceiling. Exhale, turn back towards the mat, hands and knees. Nice. Now spreading the palms, tucking the toes, lifting the hips slightly, draw the hips back. Head comes between the arms. Maybe you're in puppy with the knees really bent, or maybe you straighten the legs, reaching the tailbone up to the ceiling and heels toward the floor. You're choosing. Just lengthening the spine, taking a little weight in the arms for a moment. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, bend the knees back down to the floor. Bring the torso up. Step the right foot forward to lunge. Right foot comes forward, sinking into the hips. Hands on the thighs, or one thigh rather. Both hands on one thigh. Leaning forward, lengthening through the front of the hip. Breathing here, yeah. Putting any cushion underneath the knee, but even pressing into the top of the left foot, you can make the knee very light. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, come back over the knee, step the right foot back and the left foot forward. So even in this transition, noticing your weight distribution between, you're finding that balance for a split second as you switch sides. Hinging a little deeper into the hips, lifting the chest, breathing here. Feeling the connection from the hips up into the spine, the shoulders. The gaze is steadily forward. Take one more inhale here. Bringing your torso back up over the knee. And then you can either keep that same left foot forward or switch sides and just straighten the back leg to come forward to a standing position. Nice. Coming up through the legs. Beautiful. All right. And then finding your mountain pose. adjusting our clothing. Right. All right, so finding that mountain pose. So we find the position of our feet, our flexed feet, spreading the toes. And imagine we're lying down flat on the floor again. So we're sensing that back body, sensing what is connected to the space behind us. Balancing the ears over the shoulders. Gaze down your nose. Breathing deeply, feeling the rib cage expand as you inhale. And the spine lengthen as you exhale. And with your eyes open, I'm going to inhale, swing the arms out and up, just moving the hands in space, and then gazing up as they touch at the top and pause. Exhale, flip the palms out and down, touching down at the bottom of the exhale, and pause. Inhale, flipping the palms, pushing through the feet, reaching up to the ceiling and gazing and pause. Exhaling out and down. And one more time. Inhale, swing the arms out and up. Move the gaze and touch and pause. Exhaling out and down. And then squeezing everything to the center line. Sink the knees over the toes, hips over the heels. Bring the hands overhead for your chair pose. Now the hands could be separate or they could be together. Trying to put them in a position where the shoulders feel engaged and the elbows are long and open and not necessarily bent. Just like when we were extending with the leg as straight as you could. See if you could extend through the arms as straight as you can. Breathing here. And that depends on where you can feel it in the shoulders. Breathing. And pushing through the feet. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach to the ceiling, and exhale, hands come down. Now, if your shoulder is injured, the hands on the waist are the best position. We'll do that one more time. So sink into chair pose, buoyant legs, feel the bottoms of the feet, strong legs, feed the spine through the fingers, holding the arms as straight as you can. Or if your hands are in your waist, you're lifting the chest. Breathing here. And then straighten the legs. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhale, hands come back down to your side. Nice. Hands to your waist. Shift your weight over to your right leg. I'll mirror you. Right leg is grounding. Bending the left knee. Coming up over, pivoting on the toes. So you bring the knee out, the hip out. Heel is connected above the ankles. You can either lift the toes from here or bring the foot to the calf or up into the inner thigh. One isn't any better than the other. It's where you can find the shape that you can hold, explore working with gravity with the hands, and it may be in a different position. Nice. Steady gaze, deep breathing. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, hands back to your waist. Inhale, bring the knee forward. Exhale, foot comes down. Nice. Now shift all the weight over to your left foot. Finding the balance there, bend the knee, externally rotate the hip, connect the foot somewhere, either above the ankle, the calf, or into the inner thigh. Press down to rise up. Maybe change your hand position. Breathing here. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, hands back to your waist. Inhale, knee forward. Exhale, foot down. I don't know if it was my imagination, but you all looked pretty stable in that pose. All right, so separating the feet out wide. Let's go wide, all the way out as far as you can go. Feet are flat on the floor, feeling for the ankles. So this gives these kinds of angles that we put our ankles in, it gives our feet a lot of information up into our body. The nervous system absorbs this kind of shape. What's going on? Do we feel safe and sound and comfortable? Let's turn the right toes toward the right, left toes in. I'll mirror you, bending into the right knee. The back heel kind of points out. So you can choose, should it be more parallel to the back of the mat? Should it be at an angle? Should it be more at an angle? So feel what feels right for the knee. Engage between the hip and the ankle. And then bring the arms out wide to a T. The front foot is as parallel to the sides as it can because we're trying to work on opening the front groin a bit. Gazing over your left fingertips. So let's hold this shape, absorb this shape. Feel for the feet on the ground. Notice the trajectories of force. One is pressing in one direction, the other direction. The weight of the body is coming down through the bones. Spreading the toes and lifting up into the upper legs, strong, strong legs. Feel balance between the hips. If your torso is a little bit further forward or a little bit further back, you feel one hip more than the other. So finding more balance between the hips. The arms are rising up with this sort of isometric lifting, breathing. Feel the space underneath the palms. Hold the gaze steady over those fingertips. And feel how the chest is in one direction and the chin turning to gaze over that left fingertips turns the neck, the cervical spine a bit. Feel for the skin turning and the bones turning, of course. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, we're going to hinge over that right hip. Left hand comes to the waist, either forearm down or hand down. Both sides of the spine stay long. So now maybe you feel a bit more in that right hip. We're going to push back through the left heel, lift up through the inner ankle, and maybe the left hand reaches over at an angle. Breathing here, rolling the ribs up. Connecting from the torso out through the limbs. A deep breath. And then next inhale, bringing yourself up through warrior two, straightening that right leg, turn the toes toward the side, hands to the waist, and pause for a moment. And just trace the sensation, left side, right side, front side, back side. Nice, and turning the other direction, left toes toward the left, right toes turn as much as you feel right for your knee. Maybe they stay parallel to the end. Maybe they're turning in, bending into that left knee. Balance the knee over the shoulder, or over the ankle. And then rise up into your warrior two. And imagine that the tops of the shoulders are rolling up and back. In fact, flip the palms up. So the palms are facing up and you can feel how that kind of rotates the upper shoulders back. Now keep the shoulders where they are and just move the elbows to the wrists back down where your palms go flat. You're still lifting up through the upper chest, gazing over the left fingertips, turning the cervical spine, but the rest of the spine stays forward, or sideways rather, to the side of the mat. Push back through that back foot. Absorbing the shape, the effort it takes to hold the shape, the ease that you could find by aligning in a particular way. The flowing of the breath. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, hinging over that left hip. Right hand can weight on the waist as you either take the hand down to the thigh or the forearm to the thigh. And then maybe the right arm up and over. So if you're feeling like you're rounding because your elbow's down, maybe the hand is a better placement for the thigh. Nice. So you feel nice and long through the spine. Maybe the shoulder can accommodate that arm overhead. Maybe you want to keep the hand on the waist. The right ribs roll up. And feel for the space between the ears and the shoulders. Breathing here. Imprinting yourself in this tipped position. And then pushing through the feet. Inhale, coming up, arms go wide. Warrior two, straightening the left leg, turn the toes toward the side, hands to the waist and pause. And notice, take a minute to notice. And then heel toe the feet together, or up or step or jump. Coming back to your mountain pose for a moment. Releasing the hands, arms coming down by your side, lifting the chest, feeling for the back body, the front body, deepening your breath. And then hands to the waist again. We'll separate the feet out just about as wide as your mat is, toes out, heels slightly in. We'll inhale, swing the arms out and up. Exhale, bend the knees over the toes, cross the arms, push through the feet, inhaling up. Exhale down, inhaling up. Exhale down, one more time up. And exhale down to your squat, wherever that might be. Maybe the hands on the thighs, maybe forearms on thighs, maybe elbows and knees, adjusting the feet. Listen to the sensations coming from the feet, that internal listening up into the knees. Make the knees happy by adjusting the feet. Using the upper leg muscles, feeling the back body long. So maybe you still feel like the spine is in that locust pose. We're on our belly, we're lifting the chest. Breathing here. Take one more inhale here and exhale. Gracefully make your way to the floor. Nice. And extend the legs out in front of you. Beautiful. Okay, reaching through the heels. Hands are alongside your body somewhere. Now, if you're really rounding back, you're going to give yourself a little blanket or roll up of your mat to sit on so the pelvis can be upright. Hands are alongside your body somewhere, depending on your proportions, to keep that spine nice and long and the collarbones broad. And then let's point the toes, reach through the toes. And notice the lengthening through the front side of the shins. And then flex the feet, reach through the heels, spread the toes back towards your chest. Exhale, pointing the toes. And flexing the feet. And just notice if you can sense the connection from the feet up into the hips, the knees, even the low back. And then when you get back to your next flexing, you'll keep your legs flexed, your feet flexed. And then bending your right knee, stamp your right foot down onto the floor without having the foot touch the left leg, hugging it up close. So your right knee is bent. You're reaching through your left heel. Nice long spine. Let's do just a couple of breaths as you point just that left toe, the left toes, and then inhale, flex. Exhale, point. And flex. And one more time, point. And flex. Nice. Now you're flexing through that left heel. Take your left arm around the front of your right knee. Right hand comes behind you, as you all know. Don't lean back. Keep the fingertips down there or place a block under your hand so your torso stays upright as you take a gentle twist over to your right. And even in this twist, let's point and flex that left toes. Point and flex. Maybe moving with your breath, maybe not. Just noticing as you point and flex. Maybe the sensations up in the upper leg, up into the waist. See how far up you can trace the sensations of that movement of your ankle. And then keeping the left heel flexed again. Inhale, look forward, and exhale, untwisting the rest of the spine. Straighten your right leg. Bend your left knee up. Stamp that foot down on the floor, hugging it up close. Let's do a little pointing and flexing. Your right hand could be your balancing hand too, if you want to have off to the side. Pointing and flexing through that straight leg. We're sort of just re-imprinting some of the transmissions of impulses through the body, from the feet up into the body. Remember how to react to the change of the terrain that we may be working on, walking on. And then keeping that right foot flexed for a moment, spine is long, hugging around to the left side, keeping the spine nice and long as you turn belly, heart, and chin, gazing over your left shoulder. Now the gaze is looking in an opposite direction, and without looking at your right foot, you would go back to that pointing and flexing. So now the eyesight is not responding to that movement in the ankle, and the body can be responding accordingly. And then flexing that right foot. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, untwisting. Straighten the legs out. Third. And then we'll make our way down onto the floor again. So lean over to the side. Find your way down onto your back. Leaning down on one side, rolling over to your back. Nice. And then separating the feet out wide as your mat, arms go out wide, knees are bent, feet on the floor. And then take your windshield wipers here. As you exhale, let both knees over to the left, gaze over to the right. Inhale, bringing the knees up, gaze to the ceiling. Exhale, knees to the right, gaze to the left. And go back and forth like that. Your own breath, your own pace. Tracing the movement from the heels rocking on one side to the other, the hips, and how the knees move in space, how that reacts up to the low back, the mid back, and the upper back. Up into the skull as you rock from side to side in the skull. And there's some research done on the fact that moving side to side starts to trigger a response in the nervous system, moving your head side to side, right at the very top of the spine, the atlas and axis. It triggers a response of knowing where you are in space, and in this case, because we're doing it gently and calmly and with a breath flow that's deep, it turns on the parasympathetic nervous system. I think it's called the observational response or something like that. I'll have to look it up. Your body, for instance, if you heard a loud noise, you'd be quickly looking to where that noise came from. It's orientation response. I think that's what it is. And so we replicate that with these slow movements, and the nervous system comes online and feels supported. And once you get over to the left-hand side with your knees again, you'll push through the right heel a bit and maybe take the left ankle on top of the right thigh and gaze to the ceiling and release into stillness in this shape. Keep breathing though, keep flowing with the breath. Keep that breath deep, that rhythm from the inhale and the pause and the exhale and the pause. And if your left ankle's on your right thigh, you'll bring that foot down to the edge of the mat. Inhale, bringing the knees up. Exhale, let the knees come over to the right. Pushing a little bit through that left heel. Maybe the right ankle comes on top of the left thigh. And gazing up to the ceiling, releasing into the shape, but flowing with the breath. Deep inhalations, deep exhalations, and just noticing the tissues responding from that breath. If your right ankle's on top of your left thigh, I'll release that down to the edge of the mat. Inhale, bringing both knees up. And exhale, straighten the legs out wide, wider than your mat. Arms are out wide. Adjusting your hips and your shoulders. Make your spine neutral. And releasing the full weight of your body into the surface beneath you. Be aware of the space all around you. This feels like the right position for your Shavasana. You're welcome to stay right here. Otherwise, get anything you need to be comfortable and supported for your final resting position. Releasing all the efforts in your body. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Release your jaw. Release your neck. Release down through your shoulders, through each of your elbows, your wrists, and all your fingers. Let your breath float away as you release down your spine, through your hips, through each of your knees, your ankles, and all your toes. And just take these last few moments of class in stillness, absorbing all the benefits of today's practice. And begin to deepen your breath. And spread your fingers and toes. And draw your legs together, arms overhead for a nice long stretch. Then bending one knee at a time, roll over to one side and pause there for a moment. And using your hands and your arms, gently make your way up to a seated position. And thank you so much for sharing your practice, your energy, and your breath. May your hearts be filled with loving kindness. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be healthy and well nourished. And may you be happy. Namaste. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks, Mariah. Turn the recording off, but I'm happy to stay on Dana, to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you.